There we go.
You know, I keep getting crazier and crazier until the live button actually works. Welcome, everybody. I'm Haley Gray. I'm the founder of the Women's Entrepreneur Network. So happy to have you all here on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. And this is my dear friend, Velma Gallant. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about intention. I'm a crazy marketing person, but you're much more of that purpose and passion and driven. And I think that this is a really great conversation because it's something that I run into smack bang against with a lot of my clients.
Yeah.
And it is intention. What is your intention for your business and your life? And then my corollary to that is, are you being honest with yourself and with others around you about it?
That is a really, really good question, because the reality is we can talk about what our intention is, and it can be like a genuine desire. It absolutely can. The question is are you behaving in alignment with it?
Yeah. And, you know, does your intention really match what you really, really want to? Because sometimes I see like a cross purpose too.
It's true, because there's the intention that we vocalize, and then there's those little secret ones in the back of our head that we don't tell people about.
Really
and sometimes we don't even admit to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I want that promotion, but I'd really rather have 4 weeks off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is something I see all the time in business. You know, in what, like one of the most glaring examples of this is, believe it or not, when people do things to be busy. So I'm working on my website. I'm working on my branding. Oh no, I can't sell anything because I'm working on my website and I'm working on my funnel, and I'll get that funnel up and ready to go here shortly. So I can't sell you anything until I.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I'm working so hard. Don't you see how hard I'm working? And I'm on my 5th iteration of the Blinken website.
Well, and that, I know mine's been under construction for over a year, because I got the process started, and then I realized how much I really didn't know about what I wanted up there. And so I put it on hold. It's been saying under construction for a really long time because I wasn't clear on the intention behind the website. So there was no point in putting out a lot of work, money into something I wasn't clear on.
Yeah, absolutely. Because your intention and your energy and what you were trying to do suddenly end up in that cross purposes where you're working on the website. And I would really rather that somebody put their website under construction and not touch it, and instead focus on figuring out their systems, their operations, their processes, what they're selling and their packages, and even practice selling them and having just a PDF and a way to invoice over rebuilding the website for the 14th time. Gosh, that
absolutely. Absolutely. I can do an invoice in PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to have the perfect system in place to be able to invoice someone. You can use PayPal, Stripe. There's so many different options out there. You might find down the road that one might work better than the other, but whichever one gets you moving first is the right one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people who are like, well, I really want a business, but I'm not really willing to do sales, and I'm not willing to network, and I'm not willing to connect with people, and I'm not willing to follow a process, and I'm not willing to do all the things that are actually required with having a business. I just want it all just kind of handed to me. I want to have this idea, and I want somebody else to do it for me, sometimes even for free. I can't tell you how many times people will approach me and they're like, well, I have this amazing idea. Will you work for a percentage of the eventual profits of the business. Sorry, guys. I wish I could. I can't. I can't feed myself doing that. Chasing every squirrel and nut under the sun.
Go to Dragon's Den.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things, right? Mm-hmm. But the reality is, are your intentions really clear too?
Yeah.
And then the other thing I always have is, how clear are we really with ourselves with what our intentions actually are? What are we really trying to do?
Yes.
What outcomes are we really trying to achieve? And a lot of times people are like, oh, I want to make $10,000. And for, I would say 90% of the population, money in and of itself isn't really a motivator. So why are you trying to make $90,000?
Yeah, what I agree with you, because the reality is the $90,000 is just a vehicle to something that you really want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is
clear
travel, or I want that pair of Jimmy Choos, or I want that nice house, or I want this, or I want that. And it starts to become that, okay, so here's what I really wanted. Oh, okay. Well, maybe there's another way to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's true. I did, I told you I had a podcast 1,000 years ago, it feels like anyways. Mm-hmm. And I had interviewed one fellow, he was a Canadian journalist, and his book was called Moolah Law, Why Smart People Do Dumb Things with Money and What You Can Do About It.
Oh, I love it.
I loved the name of the book and the conversation that came out of it. Like this would have been more than 10 years ago, and it still sticks with me. Like it was a very sticky interview for me. And he talked about the context for money. What does money do for you? Because money is a way of doing things, right? And had coached young people who bought the house because that was keeping up with the Joneses, and they were travelers. What they really wanted was the travel. And so they sold their house, downsized, and started traveling, doing what they really wanted to do. And I think that really points to what you're talking about here. What is it that you really want to do, be, do, or have? And are you open to other ways of getting there? That's what I heard from you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What is it that you really want? And are you being honest with yourself about what it is that you really want? Do you really want the big house, or is that a means to an end? Or is it really what you wanted? Or, what exactly about the house did you want? And it's kind of an interesting conversation. What is it about the business that you want? Is it status? Is it this? Is it that? And it's always an interesting conversation for me, especially with business owners, because a lot of times we think that, that keep up with the Joneses, right? We have to scale our business. We have to hire people. Raise your hands if you've ever been, felt like you're being told you have to do these things. You have to get a location. You have to get a bigger website. You have to get a website. People aren't going to take you seriously if you don't blah, blah, blah. Fact is that I know many businesses that are multi-million-dollar a year businesses that don't have the website, that don't have the, proprietary email address, that don't have all those things. And yet they're making 20, 30, 40 million a year. So it's not really that. So why do you think that you have to have that, right? What about that is so attractive? And is it, like you're feeling like you're not a real business owner or a real adult if you're not conforming to these things, okay? Or maybe you're not a real business owner if you don't have a blog. Maybe you're not a real business owner if you don't have the pretty website, or you're not a real business owner if you don't have a Facebook group, or you're not a real business owner if you haven't published 5 books. You're not a real business owner if you don't sell an e-course. You're not a real business owner if whatever, right? I feel like there's a lot of that, especially in the online space, this pressure to keep up with the Joneses. And there's, some of these people out here who have done it. Yes, I have been an author for multiple books. I'm an international bestseller. I've written 3 of my own books. I have several books that I've been a contributor to, all of the things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have the pretty funnels. I have all the things. I have all the stuff. And yet here's the thing. I don't ever want somebody else to compare where they're at right now to where I'm at, because I've been at it for like years, like many years. I mean, I've had Women's Entrepreneur Network for 7.5 years now. Let that sink in for a bit. And I've been at it nose to the grindstone over the years, and it's taken me forever, to get that. I published my first book in like 2013, 2014. I don't remember what year it was. So it's been 8 years. So, I mean, it takes time to do these things. So comparing where you're at to somebody who's had years and years and years and years to do it isn't a fair comparison.
Right? Yeah. I just found, I had done been in a compilation book. Oh gosh, it was 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And I found all my extra copies of it, which was kind of exciting. What's that?
Isn't that though?
It is. I mean, like, that was a really long time ago, but
Yeah.
it's been kind of fun to look back. So even though I closed that first business back in 2011 to save my marriage, it has been really fun to look back and see the pieces of what I did, how I moved forward, really flying by the seat of my pants for all of it. And so much of it was, well, that was actually a good choice. Oh, well, oh, wow, I did that right. Oh my goodness.
Wow, I got lucky. I found a nut.
Right? Like, like starting a podcast before they were really big, right? They had, so there's a couple of those agency. There's a lot of those agencies out there that are helping speakers and authors find podcasts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was top on a number of their lists back before 2010. Right?
Wow.
When this was all new and stuff like that. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, holy crap. Even though what I didn't survive there, like that particular server that those were on crashed, and I lost 4 years of interviews, which part of me went, oh, and it hurt. And then, and this is where I really love how we're talking about intention. I got to choose what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
And initially it was, oh crap. And actually was more colorful words than that.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then next was, no, I've got a clean slate. I've got a clean slate to create something new out of that. And so, I'm doing the one podcast I'm doing now. I've got visions for more. But it gave me so much awareness of who I am, what I love to do, how I like to contribute, that I get to build on it, and I get to build on something in a way that nobody else can compare me to. I can't be compared to that anymore. So it's going to be it is kind of fun.
That is kind of cool. Getting to reinvent yourself.
Mm-hmm. I get to reinvent myself. Nobody has any idea who I was before. I had some, you Google me, you can find shit, but but I get to completely reinvent myself, and I get to do it with this me. And it's going to be really cool. And I'm enjoying this adventure. And
the process of reinvention and creation.
The intention behind the business is that I want to make a difference. That's my intention. As simple as that is, I want to make a difference. And that can show up in a million different ways. There's no one way to do that.
Absolutely. I love that so much.
So
yeah, Make a difference. Yeah. That is part of my intention with Women's Entrepreneur Network is make a real difference to many women's lives. Because here's the thing that I believe. Growth in the economy, growth in communities comes from small business. It's not from big corporations. Wealth, true generational wealth comes from small business. If I can make a difference in more small business owners' lives, I can materially impact your entire family tree.
The ripples that go out from things like that, like big business, they create fictional intentions, right? Like that they're the people we try to compare ourselves to, and there's no way we can be that. I don't know. I don't want to be a swoosh.
And I just want to be me. I just want to do my thing. I just want to help people. I just want to make a difference. And what if I can give you the tools and the resources and find a way to deliver it faster, better, easier, more helpfully? You know? Maybe we make a difference.
And that's it exactly. You know, it's funny because I'm hearing your operating system to the nth degree.
Right? And then I get people who are like, so why did you start your Facebook group? And if I actually tell them, most of the time people are like, okay, you're a little bit crazy. And then they slowly like back away. People who are trying to sell stuff to me, it's really funny if I'm like totally transparent about, here's why I started my group. And they're like, eee.
See, and I love that because it's like, yeah, okay, I'm crazy.
I'm crazy. Bring it on. Yeah, most of my friends have learned if I, my inner circle and my, couple of degrees out, if I email you or I message you and I say, I had this really batshit idea, it's either really bad or it's really good. And there's kind of nothing in between. But it's going to be a fun ride either way.
Well, that's it exactly. Like even if it is off the rocker, it's going to be a hell of a fun conversation. Well, and here you got purple-haired, gray-haired, crazy girl over here. So
yeah, no, I have my fair share of crazy hair. I had Crazy Cat on the keyboard a few minutes ago. Now Crazy Cat has gone to sleep behind me, and it just make a difference. Have fun while doing it. Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Be okay with being different. Have a lot of fun. I mean, there's going to be people out there that my mom's 75 years old. What is the most important thing to her is trusting relationships. What if somebody got to make a difference by creating trusting relationships? If that's what's important to you, there's so many million ways that creating trusting relationships can show up as.
Absolutely.
So many million ways that having an opportunity to make sense of things, challenging the way things are done. Like there's so many ways that we get the opportunity to make an impact, that making $10,000 a month, that doesn't jazz. Like, would I love that? Absolutely. Would that make a difference? Would that make a difference in my life and how I can have an impact on other people? Absolutely. There's plenty of things we could do.
Hilarious truth about me.
Okay.
I make money to make a difference in my family's life, a little bit in my own life. It feeds my Starbucks habit, but it's also to make a difference in my employees' lives and my contractors' lives, and make a huge difference in the people around me.
Yep. Because that's what feeds the soul.
That's where I'm at, guys.
Right? I totally I totally get that. You know,
Not that I don't have plenty of money, and not that I don't enjoy sale and the pursuit of a sale, not that I don't enjoy solving a good problem and blowing up somebody's social media and website and everything when I can. But yeah, making a difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, because you know, when you blow up a client's social media, you're making a difference by helping them make a difference. It's
Absolutely.
those ripples, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the same thing with me. When I make a difference in somebody's mindset and it starts creating some really beautiful stuff out in their life, oh, that feels amazing. When I have those kinds of conversations with my son,
Mm-hmm.
like we had a conversation the other weekend, and he was like, well, you know, yeah, you know, you had a little bit to do with this mindset stuff, but this person that I follow, and I'm like, yeah, I got to plant the seeds, they got to water it. Awesome.
I'm just here to plant the seeds and get the hell out of the way.
Yep.
That's what I do with my kids. They love it and they hate it.
Uh-huh. Yep. My son used to hate it horribly when he was a teenager. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my daughter.
Now he looks back and he's not angry anymore. Thank heavens. But yeah, we actually, because I planted those seeds and because it was important to me to make a difference in his life, we get 2-hour conversations about amazing stuff every week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Me either. I love it. I love it so much.
That's the intention behind my time with my son. Make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Make sense out of things. Help my kids make sense out of things. I know that's a shock.
I know. Never would have expected it.
In case y'all are wondering what we're referring to, Velma, can you explain what it is that we're referring to with the making sense and shaking things up and all of that?
So one of the tools that I have in my toolkit that I can share with anyone if they're interested is the Y operating system. It is a discovery tool that helps people connect to their internal motivation system, why they do things the way they do them. So Haley's is her why is to make sense of things. How she does that is by challenging the way things are thought about and done, out of the box thinking all the way through. And at the end of the day, you can count on her to be a contribution to make a difference. That is, and you'll see it in everything that she does. And I see it in every conversation we have. I can't unsee it now. And my why is to make a difference. It's how I came into the world. It's why I do everything. It's why I've done everything that I've done for the last 55 years. How I do that is by challenging the way things are thought about or done. I don't do things normal. And at the end of the day, what you can count on me for are simple solutions. I like to take the complex and I like to take what other people make sense of and make it simple.
Yep.
I've done that. My sister is a make sense person, and she's into like the herbs and all of that kind of stuff. So she does all the figuring, and she made this little recipe thing up with these different herbs and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, what are the quantities? Oh, I don't know. I just do a little of this, I do a little of that. So I took what she figured out, and I made a little recipe for me so I could do it over and over again really easy, and I don't have to think about it.
That's really cool. I'm actually getting ready to release something really cool next year that does all of the above. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to leave that little teaser because my team is going to kill me if I give you too many more of a teaser on it, but it'll come out in probably February. But it will help entrepreneurs make sense of things, shake things up, and challenge the way that we think about business.
And then it's going to make a difference, and that's going to ripple on out through the world.
Yep. I hope so. And I have my plans.
Sounds like a brilliant idea to me.
Thanks.
I don't even know what it is.
Maybe I'll share it with you eventually. Oh, I will share it with y'all, but it's coming. I'm really excited. So yeah, thank you for joining me tonight. This has been super fun.
Always is a good conversation.
It's always fun. So think about what your intention is in your business, in your life.
Yeah.
And are you being real with yourself?
And are
Let's
you
do it.
overcomplicating it?
Yeah.
We didn't even get into that part of it.
So many times we overcomplicate it.
Oh.
Yeah. Like we'll talk about the overcomplication next time. Y'all
Yes.
take care. Have a great night. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.